Thank you. Because I'm changing every 2 months.
Okay, we are live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Jess. Say hi to the people.
Say hi. My name is Jess. But y'all all know that because y'all seen me on Facebook. It's my mom don't know how to act. Or my daddy. Girl, I think Blaze is more in love with this dog than me sometimes. I'm like, look, the dog can't get a kiss before I do. Don't start.
Right.
Don't start. But she gets the COVID kisses because when he comes in from outside, I'm like, wash. So he can kiss the dog. I don't care then.
Exactly. That's his baby, but yeah, you can let. But dogs, I guess I don't know if the pets can catch COVID. I don't know.
They say they can.
They can.
Yeah, but we don't get that.
I don't know. I don't know. Hi, hello. How are you?
So I'm gonna put her down because she
Okay,
is.
go for it. Good day, fine people. Hey, Audrey, how are you? Audrey, yes. Hello. Martin.
Ooh.
Martin, yes. I owe you a message. And yes, thank you. Martin is my friend from Scotland. He is on the Combos crew, and I adore you. And I sang at Scottish Opera. Anyway, I'll message you, Martin. It was a few years ago. Hi, Chantal.
Oh, Chantal, girl. I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing for the Opera House in Pittsburgh, and how you are just like every time I turn around. Oh, and I forgot to tell you this. I'm on this competition and I won this, and I've got honorable mention here, and that I'm proud of you, baby.
Yes, Chantal, keep soaring, baby. Keep soaring. Yes. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Yes, Laura. Yay. Good evening. Good evening. Hi, Jared. Yes, I miss you too. We miss you too. Yes. Hey, Keith Wolf. We love Keith. Howdy from Opera Birmingham.
Hi, Keith.
Yes. Joe Williams. Yes, outstanding Amir. Oh, you're so wonderful. Joe, fantastic pianist. Helena, we're just gonna let people come into the room and just put some love in this space, right?
Yes, definitely. I'm excited.
That's Helena. How are you, darling? I have to get some updates on what's going on with you. Beautiful soprano who was I think she's a DMA student at University of Michigan. A DMA, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't remember. Anyway, good evening, good people. As you know how we do, we share when we come into the space. Hey, Larry. We greet, we share, it's been 2 weeks. Listen, Aprile Milo wore me out, so I needed
wait a minute. Am I right after Aprile? Am I that rarefied air girl?
From one Verdi diva to another, honey. That's how we do it here.
I learned from her too. Believe me.
Yes. Anyway, I just needed 2 weeks. I have a lot of things going on, a lot of virtual things. I got like 10 jobs, and she's just trying to just maintain. Yeah, we could talk about that too, because Miss Brown was we'll talk about that. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming. Welcome to Kiki Convos Thursday. We are almost through the first month of the year, and it feels like March already. I don't know about you. How about you?
Yes.
Amazing. We got a new president. Hallelujah. Hey, Latanya.
Hi, Latanya. Poo-poo.
Yes. Latanya. Yes, Latanya will be on Angel's show tomorrow afternoon on Instagram, I think. Latanya, is that true? Angel Blues show. I'm sure that'll be wonderful. Dave, how are you? Gabriel, listen, the people are in the room. Yes.
You're coming in.
It was amazing. Look who our friend is. Yes. Well,
my friend.
Yes, of course. Let's get this. And Screaming Divas. Yes, thank you, Dave. Tomorrow, moi will be my interview with Sandra Rodnowski and Carrie Alkema, the Screaming Divas. They have their own show. It'll be on their platform on Friday. So check that out. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of
goodness. Screaming Divas. All right now.
Yes. Tomorrow at noon with Angel. Yes, the time. Because see, listen, the folks are, and Angela, I have to say, Angela was one of the first singers who would do these interviews while she was on a gig.
Yes.
What's up with Angela?
What's up with Angela Brown? And I got Miss Karen Slack and a couple of them. One heard she going like this. Oh Lord, what's going on?
Because the wig, I had to make sure the wig was
make sure it's straight.
Yes. Latanya, I think that they just posted on their YouTube page or on their Instagram. So it's all pre-recorded. Anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been waiting to have Miss Brown, the right time to have Miss Brown come on here. And I'll call her Miss Brown, call her Diva Brown. She is my sister. She is my friend. She wants to be my mama always, and I'm always fighting.
What's your mama, girl? Your stepmama.
She's in love with my old daddy. So
but got snatched up. So
sure did. You know, Angela, I remember the first time we have a lot of mutual friends. Mm-hmm. And I knew of Angela before I met Angela. Had heard her voice, had heard everything about Angela. And when I was a student at Curtis, Angela had come to Opera Philly to the wail and bring the house down singing Serena. Still my favorite Serena, although she is known for singing Serena too, but you know, it's still my favorite Serena of all time. But when I heard Angela, not even when I heard her, when I was in her orbit, in her presence, and you know, it's just magical. She pulls you in with that smile and this light and everything. And we have been friends for many years now. From the moment we got the chance to work together, we've been friends, and I've, you know, been with her when she was on the road, and you know, we worked on roles together, and you know.
And I can truly say that being with Miss Slack, I've been with Karen since the bud of her career. I won't say the beginning, because this is one chick that when I was sitting in her little apartment, remember that apartment you had in, you were a student at Curtis, and y'all had the apartments right next to the rehearsal hall at Philadelphia. Philadelphia. And I wasn't a big enough diva to necessarily afford a accommodation. So I would stay with Karen on the couch, or we would do pallets on the floor. Honey, I'd get in and I'd do what I have to do, because I would come up and do rehearsals and prepare roles with David Lofton. And Karen was nice enough to allow me to come, and we became fast sisters. And when I tell you, Karen is so smart. Karen knows how to rightly divide the word of Verdi, of Puccini, of Mozart. This girl knows her repertoire, and she always said to me, and I don't know if you remember saying this to me, Karen, but you was like, after I have my big career, I want to go into administration. I want to do this. I want to run an opera company. I mean, she had always big ideas and had a lot of opinion. But that's Karen. She gonna give it to you. She gonna give it to you straight. And I have always admired her for that. And she has been a mentor to many. But I want you to know, baby, you have also been a mentor to me, even though I'm older than you. You have been a mentor to me, because I appreciate your excellence, and you have always striven for that. So kudos to you. Big up.
You're gonna make me cry, and I don't even have my tissues on me.
Don't let it get up on the upper lash.
I know. Oh my gosh. And before we go on, I have my lashes on today, because I knew I was going to wear some lashes for you. But Marsha Thompson sent me a beautiful gift for Christmas. And there was she was from a young lady. She was singing in Minnesota or something. She met a young lady. And I don't have the card of the young lady's name, but I will put her link or her name in the video, so that you know I can shout her out. But thank you, Marsha, for that gift. And I said, I'm having Miss Brown on Thursday, so I gotta wear my lashes. I know Angela's.
Are they magnetic?
No, yeah, well, they're the ones where you just put the eyeliner on, and
then Girl, let me tell you, I was mad at every woman out there that didn't tell me about that while I'm going around with bubbly lids because I was allergic to latex, and then got the unlatex. Child, I love me a magnetic.
Yeah. That's the
Somebody
move
want to send me
now.
something, you can do that too.
Okay, we're gonna get her name in there. We're gonna shout her out. You know, there's some more people coming into the room. Veronica, hello, Veronica from Austin. Hey, hello, Ruth Naomi Floyd. Yes, yes. Hey, K Dub. Yes, Larry, Alan. Anyway, let me just say this. And before we jump into it, I have to say, listen, Miss Angela has been seen at the Metropolitan Opera, the National Opera of Paris, Bilbao in Spain, Teatro La Fenice, Hamburg, Vienna, Deutsche Oper Berlin, Opera Company in Philadelphia, woo, Cincinnati Opera, Pittsburgh, Opera Pacific, Florentine, Moscow Symphony, Indianapolis Symphony, which is her hometown, Indianapolis, Indiana. Listen, the list goes on and on. Auckland, New Zealand, just so many places, singing all of many of the Verdi, Puccini, some Strauss, my dream role, Ariadne, singing all this repertoire. Angela's a fantastic recording artist. She has, how many CDs do you have, Angela? 3?
Ooh, I have 3 or maybe 5. Because all of them weren't solo CDs. I have recorded with Telarc with Eric Kunzel and Cincinnati Pops, and then I recorded with Richard Danielpour with the piece that he wrote for me, A Woman's Life. And then there's Mosaic, and then there's Opera from a Sister's Point of View, and there's another one in there. But yeah, and then of course the Grammy Award-winning CD that I mean, it's not my Grammys. They're Laura Cartman's Grammys, but I'm in the number. Okay. Ask Your Mama. Yeah.
Yes, she was on a few weeks ago. I love talking to her. Yes, but Angela personifies the ideal soprano, vocal power, lustrous finesse, shimmering high pianissimos that have always been legendary. When you hear Miss Brown, that's the first thing you think, those beautiful pianissimos. Anyway, I am so honored and proud to have my sister friend, my girlfriend, my want to be my mama sometimes, tell me what to do, all this stuff. Anyway, Angela, welcome to Kiki Convos. The people are in the room, and I know you've been wanting to come on here, and I've been like, not yet. And I knew I had to bring you on because this time, because I know Opera from a Sister's Point of View is about to come back and explode and give it to the people one more time. And I know tomorrow it premieres on Opera Birmingham's page, Opera from a Sister's Point of View 2.0. And I want you to talk about that a little later because I want you to talk about your entrepreneurial spirit that you have always had. But please, cheers. And I know you're not drinking right now, but cheers.
But got me a little, I'm not going to give them,
to the great Miss Brown, Angela Brown, welcome. So, Angela, please share a little bit of where'd you find your voice? Why opera? Why music? Is your family musical? Please talk a little bit about your background.
Well, I always say that opera chose me. I didn't choose it. I grew up in a home where my mother made sure that we all were had cultural diversity. We went as far as musical theater and R&B. I remember Saturday mornings cleaning up the house to that big furniture piece of stereo, cleaning up the house to barefooting, because my mother was a singer for her, and she sang in her father's church, which was my grandfather. And so they thought that she would be the next Marian Anderson because that's all they had to compare her to at the time, because she graduated high school in 60. And Mama was a soprano though. And so I say, and she also was an artist. So I say that I got the music and my brother, who is a visual artist, got the art. But my mother just made sure that we saw musicals. We went to this place called Starlight Musicals here in Indianapolis, and under the stars, we saw all kind of musicals and theatrical presentations. then of course being here in Indianapolis has everything that, I mean, some people still want to call it nap town. It's not so sleepy anymore. We have an Indianapolis Opera, we have Indianapolis Symphonic Choir, Indianapolis Symphony, we have the Indianapolis Philharmonic, we have Dance Kaleidoscope, we have whatever you find in a huge metropolis, Indianapolis has. And I found myself being drawn into the arts because of my mom. And I did a lot of things with community theater, as well as when I went to Crispus Attucks High School here in the city. I did a lot of musical theater. And then I ended up doing a lot of community theater once I graduated high school. And I went away to Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama, and studied with Ginger Beasley and got my my opera chops. Because I always say opera chose me. I didn't choose it. I found out that I could get a check. So I said, well, why not? If they want to, if they want to hear some of this, woo, woo, because I wasn't confident in my new clothes until I came back to Indianapolis one summer after my first year at Oakwood, and I auditioned for the chorus. My father saw that there were auditions for the chorus of Porgy and Bess. Now, this was in 1990. I can't remember. I want to say it was 91, but I'm not sure. It probably, maybe I had just finished the Oakwood. That's what it was, because I had just graduated. And so it was 1991. And so I ended up going into that audition and singing My Man's Gone Now and whatever else they wanted me to sing. And everybody that was sitting behind the desk had worked with me before in musical theater when I had this really gospel sound, this belt, and their mouths dropped. And they were like, well, had we known you had all this and you had gone away to clean up your diamond, to shine your diamond, we would have given you one of the leading roles. But I ended up doing the chorus, and I played the role of Lily. You remember Lily, don't you, Karen?
Yes, I'm a former Lily.
I played the role of Lily, and I understudied Serena. So that was my second time doing opera here in Indianapolis, because my first was Aida, and I was an Ethiopian slave, and I couldn't get those Italian words out of my mouth. And I remember memorizing the music, but not the words. And I was Sudel peanut butter watermelon. Maybe I was a hot mess. Okay, but then school came, and I was able to get my act together. But that is kind of around some of the humble beginnings. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, to think that, and in the Black church, we have all kinds of voices, and we are always expected to be able to call on all of them at any moment.
Exactly.
So there is no surprise that you came out of the gate with gospel, but then you happen to have this not only gorgeous voice, but a world-class operatic instrument. It's different to be able to make the sounds, but you really make the sounds, that could take you all over the world.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You saying something?
To make that point, when I first started studying music now, I was just making the sounds because I was a very good mimicker. And all my teacher had to do was give me an idea, because she's taught with imagery. This is Ginger Beasley. She taught with imagery, and I did exactly what she told me to do. Now, it wasn't until I started taking some pedagogy classes at Oakwood, and then I got to IU and started studying with Virginia Zayani, that everything began to click, because I was an older student going back to school now when I was at Oakwood. So I was 4 years behind the senior that was getting ready to graduate. Even though I had never stopped going to school, I didn't find what I really wanted. And that was a musical career until I was 21. So, so in the beginning, honey, I was faking it till you make it. Sure was.
Listen, that's the way you have to do it. I remember when I was 15, I begged my parents to buy me the blue CD of Leontine Price singing Aida.
Yes.
And I was like going into the 10th grade. And I just listened and I mimicked the sound every day for like 3 months. And then when I came back to school, I had I was able to make this sound. And so it is something to be said about that. And we have, speaking of Aidas, boom.
Hi, Miss Aprile. I love you, girl. I have listened to all of your recordings. I love watching the DVD, not the DVD. I guess it was the video, the VHS of you and Aida at the Met. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, such a diva. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. Yes, I told her, I was like, we all like just grew up burning that VHS, that from
Okay.
laser disc. How about that? Laser disc. They don't even know what that is. So so you go to Oakwood, and I want to talk about HBCUs because, as we know now, congratulations to Russell Thomas, who is now going to be the artistic artist in residence at the LA Opera, and is one of his initiatives is to create a solid connection between the HBCU schools and a major international opera company. And I'm just so proud of him, and it is so incredible. It's going to be so amazing what he's doing, because the level of talent, as we know, that are in these HBCUs, but they don't have access to all the coaches and the languages and all the things. But what he's going to be building is so tremendous. And you are a graduate of the legendary Oakwood School, where the throats and the voices, I mean, if anybody, I know there are a couple of Oakwood alum on here, but everybody that's come out of that place is a singer, not a singer,
a singer. They either could preach or they could sing. And that was the whole running thing at Oakwood. And it was a wonderful experience, and one that I am glad that I had. I did have to learn that, how do we say this? If you're going to be an opera singer, you cannot serve two. You can't serve two. What is it? Two masters. You can't serve two. You got to make up your mind which one you want to do. But I always kept my gospel in my back pocket, because on one side of campus I was singing with the Aeolians of Oakwood University, very posh, and with my fake technique at the time. It was fake. My fake technique at the time, and then, honey, I was stomping down during AYS, singing me some gospel, but I never had that authentic, growly thing. So I always had that. One reason I think that it was easy for me to take to the technique of classical music like a duck to water was because I never really dug down in my throat and my chords and growled and did all of those things, which are more toward gospel music. I belted more. And so it was very forward. So it was easy for me to mimic.
To mimic. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, enough credit is not given to that. The link between like being a young singer and mimicking and doing the thing to transitioning into a full-fledged, singer. When you get your technique and everything. But I want you to talk about your so you have this voice, right? And you find your way and you find opera. And how does IU play a part in your maturation from Oakwood to IU, one of, and those who don't know, Indiana University, one of the finest universities in the world, but also conservatories. Please talk about that and your time there.
Well, what happened? What had happened was I was at Oakwood, and my teacher Ginger Beasley was a student of Madame Virginia Zeoni, who is a very famous Romanian soprano and who sang over 600, I want to say 600, Ms. Zeoni might correct me, but I think it's 600 Violettas in her career. And she was married to Nicolae Rossi-Lemeni, who is was a bass, a famous basso profundo, who did a lot of bass roles. I can't think of anything right now, but anyway, he was very famous as well. He's also noted to have started the career or discovered Maria Callas. So at any rate, that's just a little background.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
Now I could be wrong on that too, but look it up. I think that's right.
Yeah.
So when I get to Oakwood, Miss Beasley, excuse me, wanted to take her studio to Indiana University for a weekend of master classes with Miss Zayani. So she takes her whole studio up to Indiana, to Bloomington, and we have this weekend with Miss Zayani. This is in 1991 as well. And this is when her husband was still living. He died later in that year, I believe. And I remember singing a lot of mezzo soprano repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
And after I sang, this was Miss Zayani. I have to act it out. Okay, sing. Ginger. Angela is not a mezzo soprano. Angela is a Verdian soprano. The blood of Verdi courses through your veins, darling. When you are done with Ginger, you come to me. I take you in my studio. And I'm like, okay, lady. All right. So I ended up going to Indiana University studying with Miss Zayani. And I always say that Mrs. Beasley is the author of my voice, but Miss Zayani was the finisher of my voice. And during that time that I was at IU, I had the opportunity to become sort of, I don't want to say the voice of IU, but I sang for the opening of an envelope. I don't care if it was someone's funeral or someone's inauguration in something, or if I was traveling the school systems. I was with the dean of the School of Music at that time, Charles Webb. And I remember how he found out about me. They have this big cattle call audition at the beginning of each year, because they already know who it, from the upperclassmen that are still at the university, who they have placed in major roles. So they were filling out the roles for this cattle call audition. So I get up there, I'm number 120, and I sing Vici d'arte. After I sing Vici d'arte, I remember James King, the famous held antenna, come up to me and go, "Oh, beautiful. But if you keep breathing all night through your mouth, you're going to dry your cords out." So that's when I started learning about mixing the voices, or mixing the not the voices, but the breathing, so that I would always have that continuous cyclical air going. So anyway, when Miss Dean Webb couldn't make it to the cattle calls, so he had them taped, and Janet, our Janet, my agent, was taped those auditions, and she gave the tape to Pam, his secretary, who played them for him. So he's in there pushing papers, signing whatever he needs to sign, and then I sing. He looks up and he goes, "Who is that?" And she goes, she's flipping through the paper. She said, "Oh, that's Angela Brown." He was like, okay. So he kind of put that in his back pocket. Well, there's another famous soprano, Teresa Kubiak, that was teaching at the university.
Yes.
And she had fallen ill and couldn't sing this concert that they had prepared together at the Honeywell House in Upper Indiana. Now, if you don't know Honeywell, the name Honeywell, if you look probably on any heating implement in your house, it has Honeywell on it. Okay, it's these folks.
Long money, old money.
Long money, honey. Anyway, she couldn't do it. He called me, and that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship that Dean Webb and I had, singing throughout Indiana. And then I ended up having an opportunity to go out and do a week of residency in LA, not in LA, in Palo Alto at Stanford University with Stanford University, and President Casper was there at the time. And I remember doing a concert, and Dean is playing for me. And I remember doing a concert where Condoleezza Rice, who was the provost, I think, at the time, she was there at the table, and Helen Bing, who is some more long money. Okay. So anyway, we're all sitting at the table, and I wasn't a vegetarian at the time. Maybe I had just started. Yes, I had just started being a vegetarian, and they were serving this rare roast beef with the juice swimming around. And so I'm pushing stuff around, trying to get the vegetables that didn't touch the juice, trying to, be nice. Your mama tells you, at least act like you're going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making like nice conversation. And then Helen Bing says to me, Angela, now mind you, I'm still at IU. She says, Angela, have you ever thought about doing a CD? I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. I was like, but the money is not there. I'm being Angela. I'm laughing. Yuck, yuck. She was like, I will pay for you a CD. When I get back from Africa, you'll have a check. And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. A lot of people can promise you a lot of things.
They sure do. They sure do.
And they never come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was January. She said she was going to be gone in February. In March, Dean Webb called me and says, Angela, I have a check here from Helen Bing. We have to do a CD. So that was actually my first CD. And I didn't add that in the group. So yeah, I got several. It's not published, but I had a wonderful, and I did go to school. I didn't just sing all the time, but I was getting my artist diploma.
Mm-hmm.
So I did sing all the time. I never, as far as roles are concerned, because I did do a lot of concert singing, but as far as roles were concerned, they were kind of far and in between. I have some experiences. I don't want to keep talking because I can.
I'm letting you go. We already had that discussion.
Okay, cool. So I'm going down. I have been asked, what has been my pitfalls? What were some of the issues, the problems, the things that have been a wall for you? I can't say that I have ever considered any of these things I'm about to tell you a wall, but they could have been. It could have been a wall here. There was one time when I was passed up for the role of the Countess because I was too big and they didn't want to make a dress to fit me. But then when the show goes up, the girl that is singing is about as big as me. And she's not, and she's white. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. I could have gone there, made a big old stink. That was not my destiny to do that. That wasn't my blessing. That was her blessing. I said, okay. The only things I sang at IU were concert kinds of things, and I played a witch. Witches are green. I was green. Witches can be any color, But I didn't let that stop me. I played the heck out of the Love for Three Oranges, Fata Morgana. Yes, honey, I climbed out of a tank. I fell in the floor. I did everything I was supposed to do. I sang that bitch. Oh, excuse me.
No, we curse here. So.
Oh, do we curse here? Let me get a little sip of.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Then I did have the opportunity to do the Verdi Requiem, but like I said, another recital type of thing. And the role that I'm like, oof, was my favorite is one of yours, and that was Ariadne. Now, I have always loved that role since I had the chance to play it at IU. And I wouldn't say at that time that I was quote unquote treated fairly, because normally if they know they want you to sing that role, the year or the summer before, so you can prepare it. I didn't know that they wanted me to sing the second cast until the beginning of that year. So I had to learn it. I cannot say that because I was an older student going back, and I'm trying to get all of my ducks in a row. I cannot say that I was the quickest study as far as, sitting and pouring over music and pounding out notes. I have always had to have a coach. Always. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say, oh, yes, I'm sitting up here. I have my, and then that ain't me, honey. I call somebody and I give them some money. Teach me. Okay. Because when it's harder to get wrong notes out,
Yes.
wrong rhythms out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, honey, do your piano proficiency, know how to play that stuff. If you can do it, praise God.
Mm-hmm.
But that ain't my testimony either. I do what I have to do.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm saying this, and I'm trying to remember why I'm saying this, but
you just kept going. We went from Oakwood to IU to yeah. But I want you. This is the thing that we,
but this is still IU. If I had let the thought of them being unfair to me even creep in my mind, I would not have risen to the occasion. To not only because see, they never at the school, because you have to understand the whole thing about university politics and the community. They always covered and gave the first cast a review. They never came back to review the second cast. Baby, they came back to review the second cast, and we got as big a review as the first cast did. They really enjoyed us. And you know who was in that cast with me? I can't remember everybody, but I remember one. Larry Brownlee.
Oh
yes, that was my baby. That was my baby. And we have been singing together ever since.
See, people don't know y'all go way back, all the way back like that.
And like I said, I am older than everyone up here. I am, how old am I now? I'm 57. And girl, let me tell that story.
Well, you better not tell that story because that was not true.
No, which story you talking about? Because the story I'm talking about is true. Remember,
it is not. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, Miss Karen was sitting on the phone one day talking to somebody, and I had told her how old I was. I was 40 or 41 at the time, and she goes, "Girl, do you know how old Angela Brown is?"
Lies. Don't believe that, y'all. Don't believe that.
When she told me at the beginning of this interview, I was like, "Oh, are we going to give them diva realness with our glasses?" She says, "I have to." I said, "Oh, Karen, have you arrived now?"
Yeah, because I can't see without them. I can't read without them. Hey, Markel, I'm gonna ask some people in because she ain't telling the truth on that. She's not telling the truth. Hi, Janet. Yeah, she's not saying. Okay, so I remember, Markel is yeah, I remember when Angela was at San Francisco Opera, covering Trovatore.
Yes.
And I was a young artist there. She should have been singing it, but that's another story. Yeah, let me get my sip. I was hanging out at her house. And she came in one day and was like, why did you tell so-and-so about my age? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Another young artist. I think you must have overheard them speaking or someone asking me how old you were. And I never said how old you were. And so I've always been accused of telling age to people, lies and deceit.
All right. So now that the world knows, I'll just let it go. I'll let it go, and I'll just leave it in the back of my mind that you're shady. But that's okay. I love you though.
I love you too, but you know you are a palm tree. Cut it out when you want to be.
Okay, we ain't gonna go there.
An oak tree.
Oak tree. Moving. Ain't like you, Charlie Brown's Christmas tree sitting over there. Don't start.
Moving on. Moving on. You're not gonna call me out on my show. That's not gonna happen. Moving on. So, and I know Angela for so many years.
Yeah.
And and the first time I heard you was in the Met competition. I'm lying. I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. I think the first time I heard Angela was when she was in the Met finals and she won. She was singing "Oh Patria Mia." And we all were like standing and went crazy, whatever. And then you get to sing Aida at the Met and have how many seasons? Several seasons at the Met. But what people don't know is that Miss Angela was at the Met with Pavarotti, Debbie or Miss Voigt early in her career. Please, you can tell your own story, but I always saw Angela. You just tell the kids that you is in the room with the legendary singers that other people only listen to on a CD.
Okay. This
Tell us.
is true. Okay, I'll tell you a little. I'll regale you, as my agent would say. I'll regale you with one of my stories from the Met. All right. So, because I have many, but the one that speaks of Debbie Joy Voigt and Luciano Pavarotti. Okay. So I am covering, and I am just like scared and nervous every time I walk into the revered hallowed halls of the Metropolitan Opera. So I'm coming from the Bronx, right? I get on the train a little late that morning, or the train was late or something. And so I get to the Opera House right at 11 o'clock, right at downbeat. Okay. And I'm walking into the auditorium, and I'm trying to sneak and be quiet. All of a sudden, I hear over the God mics, we call those God mics, Angela Brown, please report to the stage. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Maybe they found me out that I was late. I was like, couldn't be that deep. Anyway, I go up. They was like, Miss Voigt is going to be late, so you need to prepare for Act 3. 11 a.m. I just got off the train. I still got my coat on. I said, okay, Jesus, this is time to sing. So I get up there. I sang O Patria Mia. Then Mark Delavan was the Amanaz role, because I was covering. I was just covering. Okay. So Mark Delavan is the Amanaz role. So he comes out, and of course I've been watching all of the staging and everything. So I'm doing the staging. And so Mark and I sing the father-daughter duet just as Mr. Pavarotti is walking out to his Pav Rock, because that was at the time when he wasn't, moving too well. So they made this big rock kind of thing for him to lean on. Just as he was coming out on the stage and got to his rock, in walks Debbie Joy Voigt. All right, cut, I'm here. I was like, no, I was going to sing with Pavarotti. Dang, got it. Later on, she tells me, she was like, Angela, and when I tell you that Debbie Voigt is one of the coolest, downest, I love her. I love her because she has always just been real. Mm-hmm. She never minced words with me. And she said, yeah, I was standing back there while you were singing all that. I was listening, but I wasn't gonna let you sing with Pavarotti. She was like, it was over. It was over. She was like, because you was singing, girl.
Dead.
I mean, but at least I can respect that. I can respect that.
She gave you the aria, though. She gave you the aria.
The aria. That's what more did I need? It's because that got me my other seasons to cover. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I have, like I said, so many stories. I might have to make y'all wait for the book, though. This might make me write that book.
Yes, this is the time. The COVID and all this other stuff and all these things are going, and something is in there. So this is the time to do it. I always encourage you all the time. Angela, tell the kids you done sung Ballo in Vienna. You've been on the stages of Berlin, and you've been, in Paris, and where you met your husband, my brother. I was Blaze, and we need to know. I know, but more people need to know.
Well, ask me the question. I mean, because like I said, I can just flow off of consciously off my mind. But ask me the question. Then
so of course, so you work covering at Aida at the Met, and you finally get your chance to get on and then to sing the role, and you on the cover of the New York Times, right?
At Last in Aida.
That's
what she wrote. But it wasn't for my jump in. It all happened so close together. It seemed like the lines were kind of blurred. But there was a night where the young lady that was singing Aida had fallen ill, and she had sung the first, second, and third act. We'll see. Does anybody know? At that time, in contracts at the Met, I don't know what it is now. I don't know. But if you sang at least 2/3, is that right? How many thirds?
I
Three, four?
thought it was one act back then, but
No, you had to sing. Well, for Aida, you had to sing at least past the third act.
oh
Then
wow.
you could be like, bye. And
Mhm.
so then you can have somebody else come and finish. But evidently she wasn't feeling well anyway through the evening. So she got through. So she was able to get all her check. Well, I was sitting in the women's dressing room with Angela the Virgin. Hey, Ange. And we were eating Halloween candy. Okay. And I heard this voice come over the God mic again. I have a lot of those experiences. Angela Brown, please report to the artist area. I said, okay. So I had to run through the dock where they keep the horses. Ran through the dock, got to the performer area, and I said, "What's going on? What's happening? What did I do?" You know, I'm always thinking I did something wrong. They was like, "She's not going to go on for the fourth act. You need to go ahead and get dressed and get ready." I was like, "But okay." I was like, "Well, I need to warm up." They was like, "There's the room right next to her. You can warm up." I said, "But she, you know." So this is where my compassion is coming in. I said, "She's still in there in the room. She's going to hear me warming up." I feel bad that it was like, use your cover. That's what we hired you for. Get in there and do what you got to do. I was like, yes, sir. They didn't even have time to put makeup on me, really. Because, you know, I am Aida. I am Aida.
Okay, in the skin, honey.
Okay. So they put that wig on me, and we always have our own costumes. And they had already had the costumes in the room. And I went out there and I went down into the, have you ever been in on the elevator that goes down under the stage?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and people think that opera at the Metropolitan Opera is so glamorous and pulled up. Honey, until you get in that daggone thing, it's dark, scary, dank, dusty. You're scared. So anyway, I get down in there and I come up and I want to say it was either, I can't remember. It was either Marco Berti or Franco Farina. I can't remember which one.
tenor.
Yeah, that was the tenor.
Mm-hmm.
And I sang. And because we were in the elevator, I didn't have to do any moving. I just stayed in my light. Know your light, child. Find your light. Know where your light is. And it was an awesome out of body experience. And then soon after that, I think I made my debut. And so that's why those two things got confused.
Right.
That being my debut. In a way it was, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. So sort of the same thing happened with mine, but that ain't about me. It's about you. And you know, people like, and then I did. We're not
have another sip. It can be about you.
You're no, we're not talking about you. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-mm. But and okay, so you have your second performance, which everyone thinks is your debut, and that's the one that puts you on the map. Because we all knew, and shout out to Susan Ashbaker. Susan is on here. We need to give a shout out to because she, and you can tell your own Susan Ashbaker, but I know Susan was a coach at Curtis, and she gave me so many opportunities to just get out there and just do the opera thing. But please share your Susan Ashbaker. We have to give a shout out to Robert Driver and the Opera Company of Philadelphia, formerly known as the Opera Company of Philadelphia, and Susan Ashbaker.
Let me tell you, when I started singing at the Met, covering, Susan Ashbaker and Robert Driver saw me when I was still a student at Oakwood. I mean, at Indiana University. My teacher, Virginia Zayani, had me sing for him in one of the recital halls. And at that time, he was like, okay, we're going to watch her. We're going to see what's going to happen. Well, when I started singing at the Met, my memory might be a little cloudy. So, Susan, if you want to type something, you go right on ahead. But I remember auditioning. There it is. I remember auditioning for Susan Ashbaker and Robert Driver. When I finished phonating, they came up the aisle, jumped up on the stage, and hugged me and told me how well I did. And from that point on, I sang every important role that I sing to this day at the Opera Company of Philadelphia. Every important role, from the times when I have jumped in for ailing sopranos. And believe me, being a cover, don't poo poo cover, because cover can get you on the map, boo. Okay. Um, from covering in Ariadne to covering for Il Trovatore, where I almost killed Greg Baker because he was so excited. I came down on the train. The soprano had gotten sick. I went through all my rehearsal. This is in one day. And then he was showing me all his staging. And you know, Greg Baker's a big, strong, strapping man, and I was a bigger girl. And baby, there was this part right at the end of the duet with Count de Luna where he's supposed to scoop up Leonora and whisk her off. Well, we had decided in rehearsal wasn't gonna be no scooping and whisking. Baby, Greg was so excited for me. He said, "Come on, big baby," in my ear, just for me to hear. Honey, he scooped me up, and I was like, "Well, I have to be a waif." And so I went, oh, I kind of swooned. And he was like, "Oh shit." Girl, it's off like this. He took one step. He took two steps. And then he walked me on off the stage. Baby, the audience went, woo! They went crazy. And me and Greg were backstage high-fiving. Do that, girl. I mean, I'm sure everything shrank up to look great. But great times with the Opera Company of Philadelphia. And I have nothing but big kudos and hugs and love for all of them today and yesterday. But Susan and Robert, I love y'all. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so happy you shared that story. I am so happy you should, because we, as you ascend, everyone thinks of all of the final. They never think or we all oftentimes in the midst of everything don't always, give our flowers to the people that allow us to be, and everyone thinks, oh, we were at the Met and you were doing these things. But it's like, no, she sang her roles in Philly.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's very important for us to salute those people who give us the opportunities, because it's not, listen, you ain't an opera singer until you sing opera on somebody's stage.
Okay. Well, you done said there.
Yeah, you have, I mean, it's you got to get out there. You have to do the thing, that's the thing. And knowing whether or not you can do it, these roles, these big roles, like you've got to be out there and doing it. And not saying you need to do it at, the Met and all these places. No, you need to get on somebody's stage and figure it out. Right.
And knowing how to sing the aria, baby. That's just the tip of the iceberg. You got to get through that whole score.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think Vici d'arte is it.
Yeah.
Baby, that's the easiest part. Honey, Vici d'arte is the rest.
Yeah. All that fighting and screaming.
Fighting and screaming. And then you got to fight and scream after that. And then sing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. So you have the Met, you have all these successes, and the phone is ringing, you're doing all these things and you're seeing all these roles. Were there roles that you feel like you would love? And I know you, listen, I always tell Angela this. I've sung 2 roles that Angela created. I hate singing stuff that Angela created because she's out there doing that thing. I'm like, damn it. I'm up there singing and I'm like, only she can do this. Only she can get up there, and I can fake my way through and do the thing. But I'm like, every time I'm like, I get to one part where she's hollering and screaming at the top and then singing all. I'm like, damn you, Angela. But you have gotten chamber pieces written for you and roles. You're one of the first. Before it became a thing to have Black operas, and you kind of were in the forefront of a lot of creating the new works for Black women, roles that all of us are, singing and wanting to sing. Never mind, you can have it, but. But I mean, talk about the traditional singing, the traditional rap, and being able to have the opportunity to sing new works, to create new works. And I want you to also talk about your relationship with Toni Morrison and Daniel and Richard Danielpour.
Yes. It's wonderful. It's awe-inspiring. It's great to be able to have a new role written for you and then you putting your fingerprint on it.
Yes, and I
And
had to
it's
put this on
going down,
there.
yeah, going down in the annals of history
Right.
because that is the music that the youngins are going to go and learn the roll off of. Listen to the nuances and what was actually being done. Funny story, I always have them. In Margaret Garner, with Margaret Garner. Now, mind you, with Margaret Garner, I was covering the role of Scylla, and Jesse Norman was supposed to debut that role. Well, for whatever reasons, Miss Norman didn't do it. And when we were uh, workshopping it down in Florida, um, there was only one act written, and that was written for the voice of Jesse Norman. Well, after Richard heard my voice, heard me work with it or whatever, and then I guess after we found out that Miss Norman wasn't going to do it, it kind of just rested on me because I was the only other person that knew it. Okay. So the second act was written with my voice in mind. And there is one part, this is the part you hate me for.
Mm-hmm.
It's one part at the very, very end when she screams, Margaret. It was supposed to be a B flat. I made it a C because I couldn't. And I was like, well, go for it or go home. So it became a C in the score. But you see, it was either you can do the B flat or you can do the C. Whichever one you can do. So working with Richard, I loved working with Richard because he was very passionate or is very passionate and can be quite emotional about his music. And because all of his music, he bursts it like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for him to give it away. But I loved watching him in rehearsal because he's a beautiful Persian man. Honey, he would take that mane of hair, and he would just pull it. And I was like, pull that hair, Richard. Just pull that hair. But at any rate, this was there. Anyway, my baby just came through the door too. So let's get that down here. But no, I really enjoyed working with Richard. And he allowed me to create because there were things in the prayer that would be synonymous to Black church. Okay. That he wouldn't have necessarily known that's the seasoning that you put in. So I put it in there. I did it myself. And it was just a thing that then became part of the role. It wasn't that he wrote it. I
Mm-hmm.
put it in there and it became part of the role. Working with Miss Morrison, we had a chance to meet, of course, after everything was put together. I remember one time we were I want to say we were in Detroit and it was double cast. It was the cover cast and the original cast. And so I guess I wasn't singing this particular day. And I had a chance to actually spend some time with Miss Morrison. And so we're sitting up in the balcony at a Michigan Opera Theater. And so we're talking and laughing and everything. And then she goes, hey, baby, I'll be right back. Watch my purse. I'm going to go on to the bathroom. Watch my purse. And I go, hey, Miss Morrison, is it going to do tricks? She turned around, got real serious and said, watch my purse, Helpful. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to watch this purse, So, but that's how when you are feeling comfortable with people that it just comes off. It just rolls off. Just like with me and you sitting here talking. We can be real with one another. We can just express ourselves. And that was the kind of relationship that I had with Miss Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
And because actually I did a show. I have a show called, if I can get all these M's out of my mouth, Mari, Morrison, Maya, and me. And it's about my interactions with these icons of literature and prose and poetry, and how the music that they wrote the lyrics to, or either wrote the music to, I had the opportunity to touch and tell their story through my performance. So yeah, I had a great time doing that one. Great time.
Wow. I know you gave me the score to A Woman's Life.
Yes.
We're talking about the opera Margaret Garner, written by Richard Daniel Porter, based on the book Beloved, right? Loosely
Well, loosely based.
loosely based on
Loosely
the
based
book
on the
Beloved.
book, beloved.
But and your second piece was with Woman's Life. And I was like, wow, I have the score to this piece that was written for Angela using Miss Morrison's text. And I'm like, what audacity would I have to go to some orchestra and say, I want to do A Woman's Life? And Angela is like,
But it wasn't based on Toni Morrison's. That was
oh,
my
Maya. I'm sorry, Maya.
because what had happened was after I worked with Richard and we had gotten along so well, I felt emboldened and I was brazen enough to go up to him and go, "Hey, Richard, how you doing, baby? Have you ever thought about writing a song cycle for me?" I did that, and he looked at me. He was like, "No," but he said, "Let's talk about that. Let's see what that would look like." So I remember us having a meeting in New York across from the Metropolitan. What is that restaurant, Karen? Was it Josephine's? Was it? It was
Across from the Met,
right.
Fiorello's.
Fiorello's.
Fiorello.
That's what it was, where they write and stuff on the walls and everything. That's what it was. Thank you. I have to put that in my memoir. Janet, write that down, baby. Fiorello. So we're sitting in the same booth that he and Toni Morrison sat in when they talked about getting together to do the opera Margaret Garner. So he leans over and he goes, "So Angela, tell me, who would you like to write the libretto for the song cycle?" Thank you. And I said in my Angela way, I was like, well, we've already had Toni Morrison. Why don't we go for broke and ask old Maya Angelou? He goes, "That's exactly who I was going to ask." I said, okay, because he and Dr. Maya were very good friends. So to make this long story short, he called her up, asked her if she would write the poetry. And she says, "Darling, it's already been written." And so he says, "Well, where are these works?" She says, "In my collected poems." So he and his wife, Kathleen, went to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, sat at her dinner table. She pulled out the book and selected the 8 poems out of the book. And Richard wrote music for 7 of them. And it became A Woman's Life.
Wow. Well, I have the score, and every time I look at it, I'm like, not yet. I had to ask Angela first. I'm like, not yet, but no.
You can do it. It's
fabulous. You recorded it.
Yeah, I recorded it. But please, when you're looking at yourself on the thing, I know everybody's like, "Why does she keep messing with her hair?" I'm trying to. It's getting on my nerves. Okay, I have to stop looking at myself.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's hard.
So, yes. Anyway, I'm glad you said it, and anyway, I have recorded it with the Nashville Symphony, and it's on Naxos Records. And I have to say, there's 7 pieces. The first 4 I do all the time because I felt more, especially in the beginning, I felt closer to those because I felt like I could relate to them. Them last 3, except for the last one, I've started doing the last one more, but those 2 in the middle. I mean, no one says you're going to be able to take to everything, even if it's written for you. I'm still trying to. Those clothes don't feel as comfortable yet, but I enjoy singing that song cycle.
Wow. And I hope you get to sing it. I hope we get to hear it. Maybe on the stage of Carnegie. Who knows? Never know.
My mama always said thoughts of things.
Thoughts of things.
Amen.
Amen. So I want you to talk before we go on to the entrepreneur situation, because people know that Angela has always been hustle times 5, and she's dropped some gold up on me so many times and poured into me so many times, and she knows that I've sat at her feet and listened to her conversation, although she don't think I'll be listening. I listen to everything that she
Ooh.
says, and
Girl,
I'm
I
an
just
elephant. I
know.
don't never forget nothing. Everybody knows I don't forget a thing. If you say something to me, trust me, I'm gonna remember it 50 years from now. But I want you to talk about being a Black woman in this industry, because I cannot, and to be in your generation as a Black woman in this industry, and to continue and to continuously still be singing beautifully and working and creating your projects and doing these things. I want you to talk about that experience for you, sitting where you are between like the Prices and the Arroyos and particularly for your repertoire, you know, the Leona Mitchells, and then comfortably sitting in your generation representing, singing these roles, you and Indra at the elite level in that way. But I'm saying too much, but I want you to have the floor to talk to us about your experience then and now.
Can I be real honest?
Yeah.
It's not about skin color for me. It never has been about skin color for me. Yeah, I know I'm Black. I've had other issues that um, I've had to work with in this industry that could be seen as issues or problems. And that is weight, and
Mhm.
that is being an older woman going through menopause, voice changing, having operations on the throat, on your abdomen, and fighting your way back,
Mm.
and always trying to best yourself. I am in competition with no one but me. And that is something that I have had to tell myself, because if I'm not satisfied with what I just did out there, then I'm going back in the studio. I'm gonna cry for a minute now. I'm gonna cry for a minute, maybe a couple minutes. But I'm gonna get it together and get it back out there. I have never seen anything, even with all the things I just mentioned, I didn't see it as hard. I just got back up and just did it. I enjoy creating. I enjoy the rehearsal process. When I start to work on a role, I'm dedicated to that role and I try to embody
Mhm.
that role. I try to not, my mama told me a long time ago, don't let anybody take you away from who you are.
Mm.
And so, yes, I am a Black woman in opera, in this very Eurocentric art form. But why can't I sing this and sing it at a high level? Why does why would it make a difference what color I am if my voice is the right color? Okay. So as I mean, now these are things that are on the outside of me, other than my color, that I have to deal with. Long as I can get in my dress
Mhm.
and move well
Mhm.
and act the bejesus out of it, I think you should go home happy, because I was happy with what I gave you. So I try not to see things as problems, as and pigeonholing myself.
Mhm.
Um, because that's just never been me. It just never has been me. Because my mama said that I can do anything I want to do.
Yes.
I mean, and she said that constantly. What she said to me, one of the things she said to me before she left here is that, Angie, because I was singing a lot of R&B. I came up singing R&B and gospel and musical theater. And it was Angelique Clay, Dr. Angelique Clay, and my mama. These are the two things I remember. My mama said, you're going to be very famous as an opera singer. This is the genre of music. She didn't say genre, but this is the genre of music that's going to make you famous. This is where you stick, because they will remember you as an opera singer. Angelique Clay told me, Dr. Angelique Clay Everett
Get it right.
told me when I was at Oakwood University. She said, Angie or Angela, because nobody calls me Angie if they don't know me from a baby. Angela, you have a beautiful voice and you can sing. This is when I was singing gospel and opera. Remember, I was going back and forth. You can sing gospel with the best of them here on this campus. But when you open your mouth to sing classical music, girl, you are head and shoulders above the rest. Those are the two things I have never forgotten. You never know where inspiration will come from. And they inspired me to be able to just not to see all the stuff. Because, I can put on all the stuff, but what's on the inside? What you bringing out? It's about what you give. And I have always just tried to give my best, just to give my best. So I don't know if I answered your question. I went around and around.
No,
but
it's fantastic. No. You, of course, you answered the question. You answered it magnificently. And, and I was sitting here thinking about how I asked the question when you answered it. But I want to know because as another Black woman in the industry, we don't have to say Black when we speak to each other, but when we are in the number amongst the thing, and particularly in this time, and maybe a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have asked a question like that. But now we're in the time and we are having these issues and we are really seriously, addressing the issues in opera, and at least talking about them constantly all the time. And, now everyone's has the initiatives. Like I would feel like I missed an opportunity to not at least, give the space to speak about that in the particular time that we're in. I mean, listen, I too have had my struggles with weight. I too have had, I still struggle with them. Oh my God. I mean, I still have had, not been given certain traditional repertoire because I've even been not given an Aida because they said, well, we don't want a Black Aida. The director said they did. Well, you know what I mean? So like, I too, I mean, I just wanted to put it out there like that. And I'm glad you even talked about weight or, and all of these things, because these are things that we should be able to comfortably talk about so that the people coming behind us can understand and can know that you've been through some shit. And it's not just about what you see or what we want you to see. Like the things that you're going through, people have been through that plus.
That's true.
And so
and I never apologize for being in the room, because if I'm in the room, it's because you need what I got. Basta cozy, have a sip. And that's not a cocky thing.
No.
But when you have put in the work and it speaks for you in volumes, you can press play. You can drop the needle. You can beam it up somewhere. The proof is in the pudding, Pooh.
Facts. Yes.
So what you need? You called me for a reason.
Right.
What you need. And I'll let you know if I can supply that or if I'm willing. Yeah. But I am always willing. I think it's a good segue, Karen.
This is. Let's talk about entrepreneurial spirit that you have had throughout your career, and we're going to talk about your foundation too.
Yay. Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, throughout my career, I have always, it was in 1998, I was sitting in the back seat of my agent's car. Her husband was driving. She was pregnant with her first child, and they were driving me. I have great stories, don't I? They were driving me to New York City from Bloomington, Indiana, to compete in the Birgit Nilsson competition that Christine Gerke won. Okay. All right. I was a finalist, and Jonita Lattimore was in it, and I can't remember who else. But anyway, honey, those were some singing heifers up in there. So while we're driving there, I have this yellow legal notepad, and I'm writing down different things for a one-woman show, because I knew early on that the opera companies weren't going to be checking for a sister all the time, and I need to eat. I like eating. I like, heat and a place to live, and I was going to have to support myself in some kind of way. So I will say it came about totally as necessity. Opera from a sister's point of view was born in the backseat of their car. Okay. And so basically, it's a show that demystifies opera for audiences that normally wouldn't go. And I have sung this show all over the United States. And I think I did a couple of performances in China. Now, I had to have an interpreter. That didn't feel good. But I've done it. So I've done it a lot of places. And so I always knew that I knew I had something, okay, and that I was really getting through to young people when the show would be over and I'm walking off the stage after they've clapped and they've brought the lights up and they're getting ready to go out to their buses to go back to school. And I hear them, and they're mocking me. I said, I got you. I planted that seed. Because all you have to do is plant the seed. And then hopefully, Lord willing, some mercy drops will fall on it and it will germinate and grow. If we just get out there and do what we know to do for our communities, for these young people that are hungry for something more than what they have, there's nothing wrong with what's on their plate. But you can scoot some of that over and add something else. Let it be Thanksgiving up in this piece, okay? So Opera from a Sister's Point of View was born. I have done the show a lot of different places, but now, along with my foundation, Morning Brown. Ask me why it's called Morning Brown.
Why?
Oh, I'm so happy that you asked. It's called Morning Brown because my initials are A.M. Brown. Morning Brown.
More.
Angela M. Brown was already taken by me.
That's a popular name. That's a popular name.
But no, it was taken by me too. So, that was for, they tell you, this is a little tidbit. They tell you when you become your own enterprise, your own business, you better get you an LLC. So that was my LLC.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it again. So Morning Brown came into fruition. And Morning Brown brings culture to cultural deserts. And under the auspices of Morning Brown, Opera from a Sister's Point of View now lives. And not only now do I do this as a standalone solo show, I now have a platform for young, emerging artists of color that get a chance to sing on my platform, and I present them in such a way that it whatever's shining on me gets on them too, and I've always wanted to do that. I just didn't know how, I didn't know when, and then COVID happened. Hey, it's been a blessing to some, and Opera from a Sister's Point of View, as you so aptly named it, 2.0. I don't know if we'll keep it, but honey, we're gonna put that on the
okay.
On the
I'll give you that for free if you take it. I'll let you hold it. I'll let you hold it.
Thank you. But the next generation, right. That is what Opera Birmingham is presenting. Is it tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. It premieres tomorrow night. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, tomorrow night. So I am excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
the other side. I can't do that mirror thing. There we go. Okay. Tomorrow night, I think I'm not even sure. Karen, I don't even have all my.
I think it is. Somebody throw the link in there. It's on my page, but I think it'll just be streaming from tomorrow night up until the first week of February, the end of the first week of
February 7th.
February
7th now.
Mm-hmm. And Keith, shout out to Keith is here. Listen, he goes, yes, I love Keith. I sang for him. I sang for Fort Worth when he was I think you were 80, Keith, there. And I never got a chance to work there while Keith was there, and Keith became general director. And he was like he said he promised me, he said, I got something for you. just hold on. And he gave me my opportunity to put my Tosca on again, and with Noah Stewart, one of my dear friends, and I will be forever grateful for him giving us the opportunity to sing together, because we had never sung together. But he did. He promised me. He said, "I got something for you. Just hold on." And I won't forget that, Keith. Trust. I will not forget that.
And I remember you and Noah being young artists.
Yeah.
Together, coming up, going, struggling, going through everything, and you being an inspiration to him and him being an inspiration. It's so many of us that have just made family in some type of way. And that's a beautiful thing in this career, when you can find people that you feel comfortable enough to call family.
Absolutely. And please tell us who the other singers are.
Oh, yes. For the soprano, we have Victoria Okafor. The mezzo soprano is Brianna Hunter. Yes. Our tenor is Jamez McCorkle. Oh. And our baritone is Reginald Smith Jr. And our pianist, yes, honey. And our pianist is Marie-France Lefebvre. And yes.
Oh my gosh.
Honey, it's hard hitting, it's heavy hitting. And we did it in this beautiful monastery. And I've been to Cincinnati so many times that I've never seen this edifice. It's gorgeous. And of course, with COVID restrictions, it was a small invited audience, but everybody was socially, spaced. And we were even socially distanced on the stage. And we wore masks when we weren't singing. But when we were singing, of course, we took them off. And we couldn't turn to one another. So you'll see that we don't, we don't turn to sing to one another. We sing straight out, because, Charlie, nobody got time for COVID.
No. I was on the phone with Nicole Houston yesterday. We were talking about that. Like, ain't nobody got time for Corona, COVID, COVID, or any iterations of her and her life. No, ma'am. No, sir. Oh my goodness, look who's here.
Oh, is that Philip?
Okay. You got this. Philip, come. I want you to come on Convos. You got to come on Convos before you come on Black Opera Live. That's all I got to say. Kenny, I know Kenny's on here.
No, he didn't. She just kind of pulled that rug, Kenny. Get him.
I sure do. Me and Kenny.
The best of friends.
No. Yes, we're family. So I know you guys have questions, and if people have questions, pop them in the chat, and ask away. There's so many people in here that came. I want to sing in Opera Birmingham again. You know that. Lord have mercy. Look who this is. Andrea.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, because we fucked up.
Oh, okay. No. It's just, he told me to back off Slack. He's so funny. So funny. What? No. I mean, you are doing so many amazing things. Are you doing some more virtual offerings? What's your next year look like? Like, I mean, I don't know. Everyone's next year is like completely blown up, or what? Lord knows, we hope we can get back into the theater.
Yeah.
What does it look like for you?
What's happening right now is I do have some other virtual things that I'm doing. And see, Janet's going to kill me because she gave me a whole list. And we sent it to you. I did send it to me. But I know we're doing the Birmingham thing. Cincinnati's going to have something coming up.
Yeah, I know. I should never ask you anyway. I should already have Dream Rolls, Denny Dream Roll.
Dream Roll. I think I might want to try Turandot. I might want to try it. Because now I can just, But my favorite role now is Tosca. Oh, baby.
Of course.
Oh, baby.
Of course.
Yeah, that's like my favorite role. But it's Dreamgirl, yeah. And
I want to hear that. I want to hear that.
Okay, Kiki.
Can I sing Leo? No, I don't want to sing Leo. No.
Okay, what you say?
Because I want to be in the audience. I said, can I sing Leo? Then I was like, no, I want to be in the audience. I want to be in the audience. You need a clap. Girl.
Girl, you can die and then come back.
Now I'm gonna be in the back like, is she done yet?
Did you say, is she done yet?
Ah, Salome. Whoa. Okay.
Salome.
Salome. Listen, you
It ain't nobody's business. If Salome can sing it in a caftan, bring it on.
exactly.
Nobody's business what's going on up under here but my hood.
Okay. You have okay. There was another question before we get to the favorite performances ever witnessed. So, my friend Sean said new German dream role. Well,
Well,
Tannhäuser, you've done Elizabeth.
no, I've never
No,
done that, and that would be a good one.
that would be a good one.
That would be
I want you to do Egyptian Helen
okay. Let me
in
tell you my
concert.
dear Tisha Helena story. So I covered it in Santa Fe, and I was scared to death. I mean, this role was crazy. When I listened to it, you know how you can hear, well, with a lot of Strauss roles anyway, the arias and the recits, they all kind of blend together and you don't necessarily know when it's starting and, until it gets into a nice swoop. Um, that was a trip, but I did really well. I was there when, Richard Gaddis was there at
Mhm.
Santa Fe. And Santa Fe, what I remember about Santa Fe, and I only remember Dia Tisha Helena because I was there to do it. But I was mad that they put me in a house that had Brady Bunch windows and it's hot as heck and no air conditioning. I was
Oh,
like, so they open up the doors to let the breeze flow through. That's for the rich folk, honey. It wasn't for me. I had these little windows. I was like, come on, people. It's hot. That's what
right.
I did.
Andra, hot Andra.
And
Siglenda. Reggie says Siglenda. No, we need to hear those glorious high notes. That's too low, Reggie. We need to hear that thoke at the top. Oh
child, I can't
yes.
wait to hear your thoke tomorrow night.
Yes, Reggie. Oh, look, Reggie been singing down. We love Reggie.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is a good one. What makes you admire a singer? What do you think makes a notable operatic artist?
That's a very good question, Anya. Keep it up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tend to think of opera, since we're talking opera singers. I don't tend to think opera singers being special just because they can sing opera. They got the high note. If they are a well rounded performer,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be stunned. I want to be entertained. And if they have it all, that's what I think is a notable opera singer. Now, everybody's not going to have just everything, but I don't want to go to a theater and watch a bump on the pickle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dramatic, can you tell? And I want you to tell me the story. I want to relate to you throughout the evening. I want to feel. I want you to Denzel Washington, Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis me out. Cicely Tyson.
Yeah.
I want to feel. And for me, having a pretty voice is just not enough. It's just not enough.
No. That's a great answer, Angela. Reggie, you would you consider a position in opera administration? Any jobs you be interested in?
You know, if there was something that fit me and I felt like I would be a asset to the organization, whoever they may be, yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I feel like now I have a lot to give and a lot to share, but it would have to probably be something that would be special for
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm not. I couldn't do. Probably wouldn't be happy in a cutter job.
Mm-hmm.
That has a list of, and this is what you have to check off. Bye. That ain't me. Because I
Mm-hmm.
want to be happy in what I'm doing, and I'm happy right now. But if it comes also with a check. a nice check and some
Hallelujah.
benefits. I could think about it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hard.
And
Yeah.
somebody mentioned, so somebody wrote something about I love your style, and you did not. You failed to mention that you have a fashion line, another multiple stream of income, another art, another way you exercise your art.
Yes. Today I am wearing other folk. I'm not wearing Angela Brown, but my line is called Freddie Mae's Daughter. It used to be called It's a Diva Thing. Uh, and I found out relatively quick that a lot of people couldn't um, relate to It's a Diva Thing. Only my diva friends felt like, that could relate, but the regular lady that's admiring me saw diva and was like, "Oh, I'm not a diva." I was like, "Yes, you are. Everybody's a diva." So I changed the name to Freddie Mae's Daughter, who is my mom. My mom was Freddie Mae Brown, and she was an artisan herself. And as she transitioned, I felt, except for drawing, she was a visual artist as well. Everything that she did, from knitting to sewing to crochet to cooking to hair to makeup, all those things just came natural to me. And I could read pattern books for these things where I couldn't before. So I pay homage to my mother for passing down her gifts to me. And so I do decorative neck pieces that are one of a kind. You might see the same fabric, but it'll be a little different. And I use African fabrics because you can make so many different designs and ways by just cutting the fabric in a different way. It becomes something totally new. I don't sell on Etsy or what is that? Not Spotify, Shopify,
Shopify.
because I have to be kind of free to create, and that's when you get the best stuff.
Yeah.
And so I have masks and neck warmers, and I also do fabric wrap jewelry. So yeah, I have some things, but you can look me up on Facebook, Freddie Mae's Daughter, on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, ma'am. And I have yet to buy something.
Didn't you? Long time ago.
Yeah, or always the net, always the cowls, the cowl
Yes.
thing. Yeah, I have a few of those, but I mean the
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 jewelry.
jewelry.
Yeah.
I know I gotta figure it out.
Because it's lightweight jewelry. And what I found is that as I was traveling the world, I would, have all my jewelry, my clunky stuff. And when I would open it up, if I hadn't packed it right or wrapped it well, I wasn't like I was carrying diamonds around. So the sets were coming out, and I would have to use my eyelash glue to get it on there, to sit it in there so I can get out there on stage and pray that this set wouldn't fall out before I was finished doing, because I'm dramatic. So I'm moving my hair. So the fabric wrap jewelry and the and soft jewelry is what I do. And I have lots of interesting pieces. So just check it out on
Yeah.
IG.
Please do. Please do. Well, I know we have another question about imposter syndrome. And my wonderful friend Suzanne, who has a gorgeous voice, and how to she has a fantastic voice. She has no reason to even ask this question, but I get it.
What is imposter syndrome?
See, she ain't got it, Suzanne. No, it's just the idea that, you have this gift and you don't feel like you belong. You know what I mean? Or that you're in these
Yeah.
spaces and you're like, oh my God, I'm here, but I think we all suffer from that in our own way, I think.
Because my thing is, yeah, I'm here, but then I'm like, okay, do I have all the tools to keep me where at the level that I have gotten here? And I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Now what I do? And that's why it's good to have a good support system. My mother, my father, my brother, my mother and father are in spirit, my brother, my husband, and my agent. I call them up or I'll turn over and I'm just like, okay, today I'm feeling like a fraud. this is not me, and why am I here, and why am I doing it? Especially, I feel that way sometimes when I'm asked, except for a platform like this, but when I'm asked to come up and give a speech to people. And I'm like, really? And I have to remember that, first of all, you can. You can do it. It's not just be you. Don't be anybody else but you. Because soon as you decide to be, well, and I, and blah, and yes, and blah, then somebody gonna come back and say, but you didn't act like that, or you didn't speak like that, or I, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Just be you. I've always just been me. Any interview or anything you have ever seen in print, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get. I can't be anything but Angela. It's too hard to be somebody
Yeah,
else. You know, they
absolutely.
pay me to be other people. Ain't no checking that. I need a
Me.
check if I'm gonna be fake. Okay. Otherwise, you get it from the hip.
Ooh, that was a word. That just gagged me. I'm taking that. I'm taking
Okay,
that.
take it, girl, take it.
Yes. But as we wrap up, and we are, I could talk to you forever in a day, and we haven't talked in a long time. But I just want you to take this opportunity to speak to the audience. Listen, people came out to hear you today. Some new people, some people who always come, some people who hadn't seen in a while, and they came for you. And I want you just to take the time to speak to your friends. I always say Angela, her fans. She's always like, my fans, my fans, my fans. And I'm like,
I ain't never said that. But whatever. Projection.
anyway, I want you to take the time to speak to your friends and your people who are here to support you and who love you. And just drop a little something on us.
I know all of us are going through a really tough time. There's no getting around it. We've lost loved ones and friends, and it's hard sometimes when I think about, especially as it has gotten closer and closer. This COVID thing is what I'm talking about, to my circle of friends or my circle of people that I know. I have to become more humbled in my spirit as far as knowing that God has got me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give him all the honor, praise, and glory, because I don't know how I'm still sitting here after losing all my work. Um, but the Lord gave me these, and he gave me this. And I challenge you to take the gifts that he has given you and just do it. Whatever it is, whatever little thought, little kernel that comes to your mind, and you go, oh no, somebody else is doing that. They are doing that better than I would. I could never do. Stop the negative self speak and just get to work, get to writing, get to doing, get to practicing, get to singing. Just do what it is that you feel you are called to do. And God is going to bless it if you put it out there, because he can't come down here and fill out the application. He ain't going to do the research, but you can. And then once you've put it all in place, God's going to bless it. But you've got to believe that. And you've got to believe in yourself.
Mm.
I could wax into a song right now, but I won't.
You
But
certainly could.
yeah, yeah. But I'm very blessed to have had the career that I have had and am having.
Mhm.
We all need to work, especially us mature ones. We have to work on our second act if you haven't already done it. Karen's not as mature, but she already in her second act. I'm so proud of you. And she's still singing. I'm so proud of you. She always told me when she was a little one, when she was a chippy, I'm going to be an administrator. I want to be an administrator one day. And she is, and she will. And Thoughts of things. My mama always said thoughts of things. Speak it. Speak it into existence. You can.
Absolutely. I'm in every bag that got my name on it. And just trying to do the very best I can with everything I have. But anyway, thank you, Angela Brown, for that. There's so much love. And please go back in on your spare time and look at all of the amazing comments that came up. You had Andy, hey Andy, saying thank you, and Adam saying that he needed the word, and Lemmy came through. Yes. And I mean, just so many people. Hey, James, I'm trying to find your comment. He said yes, this program is brought to you by Lens Crafters. Listen, she's looking for sponsors. I got a few things on the horizon, but we taking sponsorships. We trying to keep combos going, being the thing in opera. But anyway, Angela, thank you so much. Stay on. Don't go anywhere. Susan, anyways, they are all giving you love. But I love you all. Thank you for supporting this platform. This platform was built for artists. This platform was built for people to come on and express themselves when we couldn't express ourselves on the stage. And it's become more of a blessing to all the people than anything I could. So anyway, everybody that comes through here every week and just says hi or watches the show, thank you. It's greatly appreciated. I don't know what's going to happen next week. I'm going to be in recording next week, like 4 days, and then traveling. So I don't know about Thursday, but if something comes on my spirit and I call one of y'all and say, come on down to the convos and sit with me, say yes. Anyway, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Okay, Angela.
And one last thing. Now I remember Florida Grand Opera. I'm going to be with Florida Grand Opera doing opera from a sister's point of view with some more fabulous students. I shouldn't say students, professional singers. So, young professionals. So check out Opera Birmingham, Opera from a sister's point of view 2.0.
All right, 2.0. All right. Yes. Check it out. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the stream, and take care. Have a blessed weekend and talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.